folks, HR Funk here with another classic revolver review. If you've been a viewer of mine for a while, you may remember about a year ago I made a video about my 2.5-inch Model 19 Combat Magnum, which is a tremendous revolver and I enjoy shooting it very much. But what I have with me today is my absolute favorite version of the Combat Magnum line. This is my 3-inch Model 66 Combat Magnum chambered for the 357 Magnum cartridge. We're going to take a closer look at this revolver, and before it's all said and done in the video, we're going to go out to the range and do some shooting. So sit back and relax and enjoy my review of the 3-inch Model 66 Combat Magnum. At present, Smith&Wesson has more or less resurrected this version of the Combat Magnum, although I believe the current production model has a 2 3/4 inch barrel, whereas this has the full-length 3-inch barrel. The 3-inch Combat Magnum was never a standard catalog item for Smith&Wesson. It was always a special production run or a limited production run. This particular one was manufactured in the fall of 1988 for a local distributor here in Ohio. It does obviously have the full 3-inch barrel. And one of the more significant things about the use of the full 3-inch barrel is it allows the use of a full-length extractor rod. With the 2.5-inch Model 19 or Model 66, there is a shortened extractor rod that sometimes may not completely eject full-length 357 Magnum cartridges. Works fine with 38 Special cartridges, but with the full-length Magnum casings, sometimes if they're sealed tightly against the chamber, the shorter extractor rod may not completely eject them. Whereas this one will definitely do so because it's the full-length rod. Another significant thing about the 3-inch version is the fact that it has a longer sight radius than the 2.5-inch version, and it just, at least to me, balances better in my hands. As a CCW or combat revolver, I think the 3-inch version of the Combat Magnum is the best of the genre. It's more concealable than the full-length 4-inch version, definitely more so than a 6-inch version. Yet it has that full-length extractor rod and the greater sight radius than you would get with the 2.5-inch version. So you really get the best of all worlds with the 3-inch version of the Combat Magnum. Now it may distress some purists to hear this, but I have done a little bit of customization to my 3-inch Model 66. I realize it's a limited production revolver, but I'm not really concerned with how much this revolver is going to be worth at some point in the future because it's never leaving my collection. So it'll be up to my kids to figure out how much it's going to be worth. In any case, I did send the revolver back to Smith&Wesson many years ago, and I had the action honed. I also had the barrel magneported, and I had the original all-black rear sight leaf replaced with a white outline version. Now you may be asking yourself why I had these things done. Again, this is a revolver intended for defensive applications. So I wanted rapid target acquisition, so I wanted a good sight picture with the white outline. I wanted a good action for good, clean, accurate shooting, and I wanted as little muzzle flip as possible so I could have fast follow-up shots if necessary. So all of the things that were done to this revolver were intended to help with defensive shooting. I also replaced the original Magna grip with these grips, which are a combat style. I actually bought these while I was at the Smith&Wesson factory back in the mid-1990s for an armorer school. So I picked these grips up just for this revolver. And if you're interested in such things, I also had my name and my unit number from my previous department engraved in the side plate. Again, this revolver is never leaving my collection. I may well be buried with this revolver. Now, as I mentioned, I sent the 3-inch Model 66 back to Smith&Wesson to have the action tuned. Let's see how well they did. First, we'll check the double action pull. £9, 6.7 ounces. Not bad at all for a double action trigger pull, and it's very smooth. Now let's try the single action. 3 pounds, 3.4 ounces. Not bad at all. The action on this revolver is tremendous. Good job, Smith&Wesson, on tuning the action. Now, as I've mentioned in past discussions of the Combat Magnum series of revolvers, there was a concern back in the day about shooting these with full power 357 Magnum ammunition and doing some damage to them as a result. Now, I will say that I tend to baby this revolver, and I shoot it a lot with 38 Special ammunition, but it's also seen its fair share of 357 Magnum ammo, and it's suffered no ill effects. So again, I tend to think that concern was a little overblown back in the day when these were widely used by police departments and police officers. Folks, the Combat Magnum revolvers really do have a lot going for them. Bill Jordan was right back in the day when he helped design these revolvers. They are extremely carryable. They are beyond adequately powerful. They're very powerful for a revolver of this size. You really just can't do much better in a double action .357 Magnum revolver than a 3-inch Model 66, or if you can find one, a 3-inch Model 19. There's not much more I can say, folks. The only handicap of these revolvers is the fact that they're 6-shooters, so you don't get the capacity that you do with a modern semi-auto. But other than that, if you can live with 6 very reliable rounds of very powerful .357 Magnum ammunition, these revolvers are really the quintessential version of the genre. So that's enough talking about the Model 66 Combat Magnum, folks. Let's head out to the range now and we'll do some shooting and we'll see how it does there. And here we are at the range, folks, ready to test out the 3-inch Model 66 Combat Magnum. I've got 2 different types of ammo that I'm going to be using while I'm out here today. One of them is the 38 Special Load that drives a 158 grain semi-jacketed hollow point at about 800 feet per second out of the 3-inch barrel of the Model 66. The other is a full power .357 Magnum loading that drives that same bullet at about 1250 feet per second out of this revolver. And I'll let you know which one I'm using as I switch back and forth between the two. For now, I'm all set up at 30 feet for our accuracy test. I will be shooting the revolver in a single action mode in this part of the evaluation because I'm testing purely for accuracy, and I'm going to start out using that 38 Special Load just to see what kind of accuracy we can eke out of it at this distance. So here we go. Let's see how the Model 66 does. And here we go, folks. I've got 5 out of the 6 that are in roughly 1 3/4 inches. This one shot got away from me. This was shot number 3, and I saw the sight drift up right when the shot broke. So still not too bad a group, even counting that one. This aiming black, just by way of comparison, is actually a little bit smaller than my fist. And 5 out of the 6 stayed in there from 30 feet. Again, this one just out. So the accuracy is looking pretty good from a 3-inch barrel with the reduced sight radius. I'm going to switch over now and we'll try some other more defensive drills and see how the Model 66 does with those. And I'm now set up at 50 feet, folks. From here, I'm going to be shooting this time at a human silhouette type target. Again, this is going to be a little bit more of a defensive drill. I'm again going to start out with the 38 Special Load. Then I think I'll switch over to the .357 and see how it does. Not bad double action work from 50 feet with those 158 grain 38 specials. Let's try it now with the .357 Magnums and see how they do from that distance. Okay, folks, we are set up again at 50 feet for our .357 Magnum run. Let's see how the Model 66 does with these. There we go, folks. 3 shots from 50 feet into about 1.5 inches, maybe just a little bit less than that. Almost dead center in the chest with full power .357 Magnums. I think this bad guy would have been done with his evil ways. And that's where the Magnaporting shows its worth, folks. That recoil was stout, but it was straight back into my hands and not a lot of muzzle rise as I was shooting those full power .357 Magnums. And how about some failure drills from 20 feet, folks? 2 shots to the body, 1 shot to the head. Let's see how the Model 66 does with this drill. I'd say we got his attention, folks, especially with those two right there. How about this one, folks? It's a favorite of mine, multiple adversary drill from 15 feet. Folks, that drill was made for a good double action revolver. All 6 of those shots are centered in the body, actually centered in the chest. Very good shots. I'll turn this one so you can see them a little better. These 3 here and these 3 here are all good shots. All of them would have stopped those bad guys pretty much in their tracks. Folks, they just never seem to learn. The water bottle desperados are back in town. We're going to take them on with the Model 66 Combat Magnum. The first 2 shots are going to be full power 357 Magnums. If there's any left after that, we'll finish them off with the 38 Specials. Here we go. And we always seem to get one of those desperados that wants to make a mad dash for freedom. But villainy never wins here in our fair town, and he got polished off in the end with a double action shot from our 38 Special ammo. And you had to know this was coming, folks. Is the 3-inch Model 66 Combat Magnum a 20-foot tack driver? Let's find out. Well, it looks like not today, folks, or at least I'm not the tack driver today. I'm sure the Model 66 is. I'm just a little off. Well, folks, tack driver or not, the 3-inch Model 66 Combat Magnum is a tremendous revolver, and I love shooting it. That's pretty much it for the video today. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those below. And as always, until next time, good shooting. Bye-bye.